Well, I wouldn't exactly say that's how you draw it up, but a win is a win, so I guess I'll take it. And it's funny. I'm wearing my Tim Stutzla jersey tonight. Um, there's the 18 right there. I was looking at this jersey, I'm thinking to myself, hey, I haven't worn this one in a while, and apparently it paid off. He didn't score tonight, except he kind of did, which I'll get into. But Stutzla was kind of everywhere tonight. But yeah, so Thursday, October 30th, the Sens played their 12th game of the regular season against the Calgary Flames. It was a home game. It was a 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern start time. And it was Linus Ullmark in net for the Sens and Devin Cooley in net for the Flames. I'm going to be saying his name a lot during this video. I basically don't know a whole lot. I don't know anything about this guy. Tonight was the first time I ever saw him play in a full game, and holy cow, he made a lot of big saves. Very impressed with him tonight. So the Sens were 5-5-1 coming into tonight, and the Flames were 2-8-1 coming into tonight, so dead last in the league. So yeah, this was an even game. I mean, it went to a shootout. The Sens did win 4-3 in a shootout. But it was even. It was kind of sloppy. It was messy. There were a lot of giveaways, which, once we get into the stats, I'll talk more about it. Lineup notes. Jordan Spence was in tonight for Matt and Paulo, so that's good to see. That was Spence's first game since he made that big blunder against the Islanders in that game. So, and I thought he played pretty good tonight. So, and the Sens won. So, there you go. Alright, so let's go ahead and break down tonight's game. Like I said, I don't think this win is exactly how you draw it up, but hey, a win is a win, right? So the Sens defeat the Flames in a shootout by a score of 4-3. So the Flames drop to 2-8-2, and the Sens are now above 500. They are 6-5-1, and like I said, just a really sloppy game, messy. It was kind of all over the place. I don't know. And you can see the giveaways, which I'll get to. So let's go ahead and run through the stats. So the shots were 38-30 in favor of the Sens. Face-offs, this is nothing new. The Sens once again dominating in the face-off dot, 65.7% compared to 34.3% for the Flames. And I didn't know this until tonight, but Stutzla actually I believe Mike Johnson during the broadcast said he was first in the league for faceoff percentage with, I believe it was a minimum of 100 faceoffs taken this season. So it's crazy. They were showing his stats during the game, and he's been a career sub 50%, and now he's at like 60, 65 or something like that, 65%. So it's crazy. I don't know if he's going to be able to sustain that throughout the whole season, but boy, I mean, the team in general is just dominating in the faceoff dot, so really good to see for sure. Power play, this is not really a shock, but 2 for 4 for the Flames, and the Sens were 0 for 4, but thankfully it did not hurt them tonight. Penalty minutes were even at 10 apiece. Hits were 17-16 in favor of the Flames. Block shots 21-7 in favor of the Sens. I had to do a double take there. Giveaways 23-19 with the Sens having the most. So many giveaways, my goodness. And the takeaways were 8-4 in favor of the Sens. So these two teams will meet again on March 5th in Calgary. That'll be the second and final meeting of the season between these two teams. So yeah, we'll go ahead and dive into the game here. I have actual notes. I was able to watch the whole game tonight because there was no World Series on tonight. So yeah, felt good to actually watch the whole game finally. So yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll go through my notes. Yes, let's go through my games. Alright, so in the first period here, there was a centering pass for Jensen. There was a nice, very nice stick lift by the Flames defender. Didn't put down who it was, but that could have been a really good chance for the Sens. They got nothing out of it. Stutzla. I don't know how many times. Feel free, if you're watching this video, keep track of how many times I say Stutzla's name during this video, because he was all over it tonight. Wow. So Stutzla had a backhand chance right in front of the net. It was a good save by Cooley. I'm going to be saying his name a lot as well. Just heads up. So there was a double minor high sticking penalty by Ridley Gregg. I didn't like this penalty, man. I didn't like it in the sense that the timing of it was so poor. It was a penalty. It was clearly a penalty, double minor, just careless. And the Sens, they had all the momentum, and then they take a double. Let me try that again. Double minor high sticking penalty. I swear, easy for me to say. But yeah, just very poor timing on that penalty, and we all know what this means, right? When the Sens are shorthanded, right? And another thing too, you know how sometimes I'll say you never know what you're gonna get with this team? Well, Sharon Govich would end up scoring on the power play, right? So it's like, okay, sure, nothing new here, nothing surprising. The Sens giving up a power play goal, what else is new? But Yegor Sharangovich scoring at the 5:51 mark of the first period from Joel Farabee and Mackenzie Weegar, and that made it 1-0 on a power play goal. Now, uh, by the way, once again, the Sens allowing the first goal of the game for the 10th time this season. 10 out of 12 games. They have scored once, twice this year. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. And what's ironic, too, they were talking about this during the broadcast. The Flames have been scoring a lot this season, but they have a terrible record. So these teams are complete opposites. So the Flames always score first, but they end up losing. The Sens, they allow the first goal, but they end up coming back a lot of the time. So really interesting there. I'm not sure how that works, but yeah. So the Sens would get a 2-on-1 shorthanded on this same penalty kill, and Pinto gets a shot, and Lars Eller would score on the rebound. So this is what I mean, right? You never know where you're going to get with this team. So on that same penalty kill, Lars Eller would score shorthanded, his second of the season at the 7:37 mark of the first period. So Shane Pinto and Thomas Chabot getting the assist there. And I might be mistaken. I think this might be the Sens' first shorthanded goal of the season. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that. But I think it was. So, shortly after that, Klapka had a clear path to the net all alone. Got a good chance there. It was a really good stop by Allmark there. Allmark made a lot of good saves too tonight. There was a penalty for the Flames. The Sens had one shot on that power play. They couldn't score. There was a great shorthanded chance for the Flames at the tail end of that power play. And there was a good save by Allmark. Then there was a tripping penalty by Pinto. There was a good chance by Ottawa, again, shorthanded on that penalty kill. There was a scramble around the Ottawa net, and Calgary would end up scoring here. So, another power play goal. Surprise, surprise. So Matt Coronado scoring this one from Morgan Frost and Rasmus Anderson at the 15:53 mark of the first period, and that would make it 2-1 Flames. So it's not looking great. This is a team they should be beating, and they did end up winning, but it was just, like I said at the beginning, right? Not exactly how you draw it up, but a win is a win, right? So there was a late holding penalty by the Flames. There was a late flurry by the Sens right at the end of the period, but they didn't score. So we would head into the first intermission, and the Flames were up 2-1 after the first period. And it's not looking great if you're a Sens fan. I mean, again, this is a team they should be beating, and they did end up beating them. But still, like I said at the beginning, it's not exactly the way you draw it up, I feel like. So the shots in the first period were 13-11 for Ottawa, but it's too close for my liking, right? And so we roll into the second period. So that power play that the Sens had, it would carry over. There was a one-timer by Dylan Cousins, a huge glove save by Cooley. There's Cooley's name again. The Sens had 5 shots on that during that power play. So they were getting chances. They were moving the puck around pretty well, but they didn't end up scoring tonight on the power play. But they scored short-handed. Like, again, that's what I mean, right? You never know what you're gonna get with this team. So they actually looked pretty decent on the power play tonight, but they just couldn't get one. So I don't know. It's a mystery with this team sometimes. So not long after that power play ended, Jensen would take a hooking penalty. And then shortly after that, there was hard work again by Stutzla. Stutzla again. He would draw a holding penalty by Frost, so we played 4 on 4 for a little bit. The Sens would go to the power play after that 4 on 4 expired. Sanderson had a good look, and another good glove save by Cooley. He made a lot of big saves tonight, man. So Batherson would have a wraparound attempt near it goes in. It kind of went through the crease, so it never really. I don't think that counted as a shot, but that was a good chance as well. There was an interference call on Coleman. So initially, I thought it was just an interference penalty, but then when you look at the replay, uh, Nick Cousins was the one who was interfering with them. He also got called for embellishment, and I don't know. I've always found that kind of strange because, like, you call one for interference, you call one for embellishment. Shouldn't it be just one or the other? I don't know how it's both, but either way, it ended up being a minor penalty for both teams, so it's like, yeah, whatever. And I put down here the refs seem to be missing some calls. They were missing things, and I said this before. Like the refs, it's a hard job, right? Like you're not gonna see everything that goes on during the game. They're gonna miss some stuff. I get it, but it seemed like they were missing more tonight than usual. Maybe it was just me. To my From my vantage point, it looked like they missed a too many men call against the Flames, but that never got called. Stutzla ended up getting tripped at one point. That wasn't called. And they were talking about this during the broadcast. Travis Green was not too happy with the officiating, and they showed him on the bench, and yeah, he was not too happy. And again, it did seem like they were missing more tonight than usual, but at the end of the day, you know what? The Sens were 0 for 4 on the power play, so it's like, can we really be that upset about it if they miss some stuff? So Stutzla again, he had a chance in front of the net on the backhand, but his stick gets lifted at the last second. So that was a good chance. He never got a shot off there. So not too much happened. There were no scoring in the second period. So we would go to the second intermission, and the Flames are still up 2-1. So still not feeling not great, but not terrible. Not good, obviously. I mean, they're still down 2-1 after the second period. So the shots were 10-9 Ottawa in the second period, but it's still close, right? They're only down by one, so not going to feel that bad. But at the same time, it's the Flames. It's the, worst team in the league. They should be beating them. So we roll on to the third period, and pretty early into the period, as a matter of fact, 2:36 into the third period, Artem Zub would end up taking a wrist shot, and it went straight in. Didn't hit anything, it just went straight in. So that was Zub's second goal of the season. I believe that's his first goal since since the very first game of the season. So I think Zub has like 8 points on the year. Like, talk about a quiet 8 points there for Zub. My goodness. So Lars Eller and Drake Batherson drawing the assists on that one, and that would tie the game at 2. So, okay, good start to the period. We're looking good. Pinto had a break. He took it to the net, but he doesn't score. Again, there was a lot of like really near misses where it's like there's really good looks, or they're all alone up front of the net, or they don't get a shot, and that was one of them right there. So the Sens would get a 2-on-1. Stutzla walks in, and he would end up hitting the post on this play. So there's another one that could have gone in for Stutzla tonight. And then there was a brutal giveaway at the Calgary blue line by Sanderson. Kind of rare to see Sanderson make a play like that. And then Flames would go back the other way, and they would just skate through the D like nothing, and Kadri would score. They just made it look so easy. I don't know what happened here. The giveaway was just brutal. Yeah, I don't know what happened on that play. So Yeah, Kadri would end up scoring at the 8:16 mark of the third period from Huberdeau, and that made it 3-2 Flames. So obviously not looking too great, right? So Zub got high sticked in the face, and there was no call. I didn't even see this at real time. They showed it later on, the replay of it, and it's like, this is what I mean, right? When I said earlier, like it seemed like the refs were missing a lot of things tonight, and this was another one that they missed. But again, at the same time, power play was 0 for 4, so can I really complain that much? Not really. So, uh, Batherson would make a nice pass to Stutzla. He was Stutzla again. He was all alone in front. He didn't really get a shot away because the puck was bouncing, but again, just there were so many of these chances where it's like they're right there, they're so close, they got a straight clear path to the net or a clear shot, and they just can't get it, right? So at this point, I'm thinking like the game's over. Like they're not getting the breaks. They're down by one. It's kind of late in the game. But then Jake Sanderson, of all people, the one who made that brutal giveaway, he would end up firing a shot and it found a way to go in. This is kind of a weird play. So this is weird. So it found a way to go in the net. So Jake Sanderson would score at the 17:11 mark of the third period. So less than 3 minutes left to go in the game, and he ties it. So Stutzla and Spence drawing the assists. It's good. I think Spence has 5 assists in 5 games this season. I'm just saying, play him more, please. uh, Not a coincidence, but yeah, this was a kind of a weird play because I thought for sure when it went in real time, I thought for sure the Flames were going to challenge it, but they actually did not challenge it. Um, Now, when I saw the replay, I don't think there was interference anyways. Nobody on the Flames was like really that upset at all either. So, um, and I believe it was Mike Johnson who said this during the broadcast. They probably don't want to challenge it because, of course, if you lose the challenge, then not only is the game tied, but you're also shorthanded, and this team needs points. So I can kind of see why they didn't challenge it. So that would tie the game at 3-3, and we would end up going to overtime. So the shots in the third period were 7-7. Not a lot of shots in the third period. So yeah, we go into overtime. So this was the third overtime game for the Sens. So I'm gonna say it right now. The Flames did not do too much in the overtime period. They didn't do too much. There were just all I put here was multiple big saves by Cooley. That's all I put. Well, I got more, but just like I couldn't even keep track. So Dylan Cousins had two. Stutzel also had a good chance as well. They were all stopped by Cooley. Then there was a tripping penalty by Rasmus Anderson. So the Sens would go to the power play in overtime, so 4-on-3. Good passing, really good passing by the Sens on the power play, and another big save by Cooley. Like, again, this was the first time I ever saw him play in a full game, and he made a lot of really big saves, so good on him. So the Sens would not end up scoring on that power play, so that would essentially run out the rest of the clock for overtime. So we would go to a shootout. So the shots in the overtime were 6-1 for Ottawa. Like the Flames, they basically did nothing in the overtime session. So of course they were shorthanded for 2 minutes as well. So yeah, we would go to a shootout. This was the second shootout of the season for the Sens. Of course, they won their last one in Seattle. So, and of course, they won tonight as well. So the first shooter was Batherson. He would score, just nothing fancy at all. He just skate in, just quick release, and he beats Cooley. First shooter for the Flames was Kirkland. He would end up hitting the post. I thought that was a really interesting choice by the Flames. Kirkland. I don't know. Maybe he's really good in the shootout. I'm not aware of that, but he ended up hitting the post. He beat Allmark, just couldn't beat the post. So next up, guess who? It was Stutzla, second shooter, and he would end up scoring. So that's what I meant earlier when I said he scored, kind of. Kind of, right? He scored in a shootout. Doesn't count as a goal in the stats, but he still scored. So That would end up being the shootout winner because Frost would end up shooting next for the Flames, and he was stopped. So, this, again, it's not how you draw it up. So, this was a game that the Sens never led in. They never led this game for 1 second. They had three separate one-goal deficits. So, they end up winning, right? They don't ask how, they just ask how many. So the Sens do end up winning by a score of 4-3 in a shootout. And yeah, like I said, it was a bit of a messy one, but a win is a win, right? So we're gonna go ahead and go to the 3 stars. All right, so the 3 stars of the game. First star was Lars Eller with a goal and an assist. Second star of the game was Kadri with 1 goal. And Stutzla, even though he had 1 assist, he was the third star, but he was all over it tonight. He could have easily had a couple of goals tonight, but they just were not going in for him tonight. Just just one of those nights, right? But he did get the shootout winner. Or I guess Batherson got the shootout winner, but he Stutzla did score in the shootout as well. So yeah, so we'll go through the box score now. All right. So looking at the Sens, our point getters for tonight. So Eller had a goal and an assist, and Pinto, Stutzla, and Batherson all had 1 assist each. And on the defense side, 4 defensemen had a point tonight. So Zub and Sanderson both had a goal. Spence and Chabot both had an assist. Plus minus, let's see, nobody was a minus. Wait, really? So we got Zub, Spence, Chabot, and Sanderson all +1. But yeah, no defenseman was a -1. Or a minus at all, I should say. And on the forward side, yeah, only 2 skaters were a minus, and that was Amadio and Giroux. They were -1. Everyone else was either even or plus. So Batherson and Eller were +2. And Stutzla, Zetterlund, and Nick Cousins were +1. And yeah, let's go ahead and look at the shots. Let's look at ice time first. And to nobody's surprise, Stutzla led the forwards in ice time 24:57. That's a lot. That might be more than any defenseman. Okay, well, maybe not quite. Sanderson played 28:50, so okay, there goes that. That went out the window, but still. 24:57 for Stutzla. That's a lot of ice time, and you could tell. So shots, Stutzla led the way with 7 shots tonight. None of them went in, unfortunately, but again, he was all over it. And I didn't even realize this till just now, but Sanderson had 8 shots tonight. What the heck? Wow, 8 shots for Sanderson. He did score tonight, so that's pretty crazy. Block shots, there were a lot of blocks to the Sens tonight. So Clevin and Chabot led the defense with 4. And then for forwards, Amadio also had 4. Good to see that for Amadio. For hits, Nick Cousins had the most for the forwards with 3. And defense, well, according to the NHL site, there was 1 hit combined for all the defense. And that was by Zub. I don't know about that, but okay. Apparently 1 hit thrown by the defense all night. And yeah, so there is that. So Ullmark's save percentage ends up being an even 900, which is not bad, right? I mean, that does count as a quality start. So he does stop 27 out of 30, and I thought he played pretty good tonight. Ullmark is just, I said this before and I'll say it again. He can be so much better than what his numbers say, but yeah, I thought he played pretty good tonight. He did make some big saves, and again, 900 save percentage. It's good, right? Still a quality start, so definitely nothing wrong with that. So yeah, that is pretty much it for that. So the Ottawa Senators' next game will be on Saturday, November. We're moving into November here soon. November 1st, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern start time against the Montreal Canadiens, and that'll be the first meeting of the season between those two teams. And also, uh, this game tonight, this is the last home game for the Sens for a little while. They're basically on the road now for about a week and a half. They don't play at home again until I believe it's the 9th, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, they got a bit of a road trip here. The Sens have a lot of road games coming up next month, like a lot. I think it's like that I they don't have many home games. I think they have like 4 home games and 13 road games. Or no, no, I think it's 4 home games out of like 13 in total, so like 9 road games or something like that. A lot of road games next month, so yeah, so do look out for that. It could be a rough month for the Sens, so hopefully that's not the case. But it all begins on Saturday in Montreal. This game, we'll have to wait and see what happens with the World Series, but obviously hoping the Blue Jays can end it tomorrow night in Toronto, Game 6, right? But if not, then Game 7 will also be on Saturday. So obviously, I will be watching Game 7 if it does go that far. I'll be watching that instead of the Sens. So yeah, there might be. We gotta wait and see what happens tomorrow night in Game 6, right? But go Jays, obviously. And yeah, again, just really, I'll say it again. Definitely not the way you draw it up. But hey, a win is a win. So the Sens do defeat the Flames by a score of 4-3 in a shootout, and the Sens are also 2-0 in the shootout. So that's pretty good to see. But yes, we're gonna wrap it up here, guys. Once again, next game, Montreal at Montreal, Saturday, November 1st, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll see how that goes. Montreal's been on a roll, so we'll see how they do. But anyways, I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and go Sens go.